Okay, guys, welcome to another video on the Conscious Crypto and Investments channel. If you're watching this on the main channel, we appreciate that as well. This is one of my favorite current crypto projects. These guys are a really enthusiastic team. I've had the pleasure of speaking with them previous to making this video. So do me a favor and hit the like button, share, subscribe, support us on Patreon where you can find premium content. And let's get down to business. So you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about the project?
Yeah, so I'm Diego. I'm the creator of the token, SafeDMT. I pretty much saw the opportunity that there was in the market for. First of all, I saw a lot of tokens coming in from the Binance Smart Chain that were not doing a lot. It was just pretty much meme tokens and just moon tokens, which a lot of people were making a lot of money on, but they were not doing that much. So I saw the opportunity there to have that as well, but also combine it with something that could create a positive impact. And that for me was my passion for psychedelics and what they have done on.
Was there any particular reason why you chose DMT? I know the
more people that haven't.
Yep. Say again?
Yeah, that this is the case for me, and I know that for a fact that there is even more people that haven't had the luck to even experience these things, or they're too scared because of the stigma that these substances have in today's society, because that's what we have been told to, that they're harmful, that they will make us go insane, or we will ruin our lives forever, things like this, which is 99% lies. And there could be a community that stands up for this and shares the true message of what these things are about, the potential for psychedelic therapy, and just many things on top of that.
Yeah, one of the things that I appreciate so much about psychedelic research and supporting psychedelic research is that psychedelics have been shown to be efficacious for so many different medical applications, from addiction to PTSD. Also, they tend to have this effect on people that they make them more environmentally conscious, more socially aware. People, in the 60s, they all dropped acid and they went out and protested the Vietnam War. So it's like you can support this one area of research, but in reality, you're having a massive impact on potentially a tremendous spectrum of different sociological and cultural issues. So I think that is really wonderful. In fact, one of the recent, and this actually spans many decades that this has been happening. In the 1960s, Humphrey Osmond, one of the researchers that was working for the government, actually said that psychedelics, in his opinion, could treat every known neurological aberration, oftentimes in a single dose. And that's one of the great misconceptions, as you were saying, that people believe that these things are harmful because they just assume that the researchers told the government that they were dangerous and harmful. And when in reality, the researchers said the opposite. And in my opinion, the government went and shut them down because they were a threat to big pharma, and because of the just the psychological impact of causing people to think for themselves. For those that might not know out there, the main mechanism that facilitates the ability or the capacity for psychedelics to heal all of these neurological problems is the neurogenesis, which is stimulating new brain cell growth and new neural pathways. All psychedelics, from ketamine to LSD, DMT, of course, have been shown to do this. And also restoring neuroplasticity, which is the ability for old patterns in the brain to reform. And I think one of the reasons that we run into so much skepticism in regards to these compounds and their ability to heal all of these problems is that it works so well. And I think that if people understood the neurological the neuroscientific processes that are involved, they would understand why they're so efficacious, and it wouldn't be such a difficult pill to swallow, so to speak. By the way, the name SafeDMT turns out to be even more appropriate than I thought as an advocate of psychedelics. I actually went and Googled DMT and looked for adverse reactions, people hurting themselves, any kind of overdoses, and I was unable to find a single case of anything seriously happening to anyone. So
there is none.
Yeah,
none at all. Yeah, that's correct.
So what about tokenomics?
Judge, you wanna jump in?
Me to take this. So we have a 12% tax. 3% of that is reflected back to the users, and then the remaining 9%, half of that is distributed to the charities, and then the other half is used for marketing. But we have a charity burn function, which helps to increase the value of the token. This was actually something that Diego came up with. It's quite a clever mathematical little setup which he proposed. So I was hunting for new crypto projects after being involved in sort of the mainstream cryptocurrencies. Came across the BSC Smart Chain projects, and within a couple of weeks I'd come across the sort of launch group for this project, and I kind of just jumped on and offered my services. Mostly I'm working on copy and kind of helping to kind of get momentum behind the project and get it driving. I've got experience delivered to them, you know, in a controlled setting with proper therapists who understand how to administer it and how to guide people through the experience, you know, in it, and to get like the most out of the experience. These people have these amazing design things. There's so much research which has gone into it, but there's like this little, you can see it's almost there. It's right on the edge. And if these people had access to that, I know it would make a massive change in their life. You know, there's people out there dying of suicide because they feel like they've got nowhere else to go. I read this incredible book. It was called Autism on Acid, and this guy was an autistic guy. And have you read it?
No,
it's a fascinating read. But he said, you know, he basically, you know, committed himself to just going off, traveling for a bit, and then ending his life. And while he was doing that, someone offered him LSD, and he took it. And all of a sudden, he could understand all of the situations he'd been in where he hadn't been able to understand people's emotions, and all of a sudden he understood empathy, and all of this stuff just came flooding in, and he was able to replay all these moments in his life and go, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. That's why that happened. Oh, I get it now. Right. Oh, and he just had this, just sat in this woods for like, you know, 6 hours having this epiphany after epiphany about all of these things in his life. And then he went on this experiment where he's like, okay, well, what is, you know, how can I use this in my life to actually engage? You know, it's completely turned around. Suicide thought's gone. New understanding of life. And he, you know, he says, I'm a sample group of one, but there is a huge amount of promise here. And so that's why I've kind of jumped on this project, and you know, just want to push it forward, just want to make it happen, just really excited about where it could go, and you know, yeah, just.
And it's definitely one of the most powerful ways to generate money for different causes, and I think that, you know, for me, the two main things that drive my life are trying to contribute to the evolution of consciousness, protecting the Amazon rainforest, and promoting psychedelic research. And you know, we were just a few months ago, before we really got involved with cryptocurrency, I was thinking, you know, how can we possibly make conservation or contributing to research profitable? And so I think this is a really unique opportunity for people to do that, to benefit personally while also making a contribution to the collective.
Exactly, and that's really the whole thing about this project, because what there's a danger of at the moment is all of the money which was going to people like MAPS and other people that are protecting the indigenous tribes, that money is starting to be diverted into the bigger pharma companies that are planning to, you know, monopolize, patent, and cash in on this type of project. And there's a risk that all of the money gets diverted to those guys because people want to speculatively, you know, if they want to see something back for their money, they don't just want to give it away. And so having a project where, hey, look, if everybody who believes in the power of psychedelics comes in on this project, you don't have to put a huge amount in, only a small amount in. If everyone who believes in it does it, then we're going to generate a huge amount of money for the organizations which are fighting to push this forward and have been fighting for years to do this. You know, Rick Doblin started MAPS in about 30 years ago, right? And he's just about to get the MDMA trial over the line after so many years of pushing, and they still need funding. People like the Berkeley group, you know, they need funding. There's a lot of people doing this for the right reasons, and I think it's important that those are the people we're supporting with this project.
Well, again, on top of that, since there's the personal profit element as well, so you're empowering the people that are of like mind that are probably doing other things in their lives that you're going to approve of. So there's just as psychedelics treat so many levels or treat issues on so many levels. This is sort of like what is the word? Financial reflection of that sort of concept or that mechanism or capacity of psychedelics to function in that way. Just like the story you were telling about the guy that had autism. I have a cousin who has autism, and I've been trying to convince my aunt for quite some time to give him just small doses of mushrooms. And she's coming from the mainstream matrix mind, and she really doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But it's just another example. I mean, you were talking about how that guy, he was contemplating suicide and he was autistic, and so he was able to address, not only his autism, and he can probably look people in the eye now. And I've read a lot of stories where that it's had that effect on autistic people. That one single dose has made such a substantive difference in their in their psychological patterning that they're actually able to make eye contact and start to maybe socialize a little bit more normally.
So, and they can carry the lessons. They can carry the lessons that they learn during.
Yeah, and then it also treated his depression. I was actually listening to Elon Musk the other day. I was just scrolling through TikTok, and I came upon him talking about how a very similar idea to Terence and Dennis McKenna's idea of the reducing valve in consciousness. He was talking about how we reduce, all of this spectrum, this massive spectrum of input into this very narrow bandwidth, because it's the only way that we're able to process our reality. But in the process of doing so, we remove a tremendous amount of information, and some of it might be relevant to us. And so I think that, aside from the neuroscientific, the biophysical basis through which these chemicals work, in a purely deterministic sense, there's also that level of allowing temporary capacity. I don't think we ever got into the technical aspects of your tokenomics, though, did we?
No. Should we do that? So the total supply is 1 quadrillion. We have a 12% transaction tax. 3% of that goes back to holders distributed based on the amount of tokens that they hold, and 9% goes back to the LP pool. We have a weekly charity burn, which removes 60% of the newly accumulated tokens from the pool, and then the majority is automatically passed on to institutions, which are voted on by the community, dedicated to the progression of psychedelic research and therapy. So we extract it 50% BNB and 50% SDMT. Of the extracted BNB, 50% go to charity, 20 to business development, 20 to marketing, and 15 to the stability reserve. And then of the extracted SafeDMT, we burn 67% of that, 27% towards the stability reserve, and then 6% for giveaways.
Nice. And so you're going to have you're going to allow the community to choose where the donations go. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, we usually do voting so everyone can chime in and say where they think this money should go towards, because at the end it's everyone's money. So we try to involve the community as much as we can. We also do it this way with the tokenomics, because we don't want to be set, because we also at some point had a charity and a donation wallet for this stuff with some token reserve on there, but that will involve us selling the tokens at certain points, and we don't want to be doing that because that will decrease the price of the token. So we don't want to be doing sellings in this way. So this is a nicer method that we decided not too long ago. It's working pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, all psychedelic organizations, we're hopeful, will accept SafeDMT as a currency, and then we can donate directly to them in SDMT. And then as the value of the token grows, the value of the SDMT that they're holding grows as well. And then they can use that as they, see fit to further their research.
So how about a roadmap? Do you guys have a timeline for like specific developments?
We do indeed.
And targets?
We do indeed. Who wants to cover the roadmap?
Yeah, we have quite some things lined up on a roadmap. Well, there is a lot of the usual. We want to get into centralized exchanges. We want to get listed on CoinGecko, on CoinMarketCap, very usual. But we still have some requirements to meet for those. So we're hoping we can reach that and you submit the form so we can get listed on those. We also have quite a bit of collaborations on the way for YouTube. I mean, we are doing a collaboration right now, so that was on the roadmap. We also have lined up another collaboration with Dakota Wind. He's Dakota Fair right now. He's a pretty big psychedelic YouTuber as well. I really respect and like his content as well. He's done amazing documentaries, traveling around the world, talking about tradition and psychedelics. Really nice guy as well and humble, and he's really in for the cause as well. We are in talks also with Psych Substance that pretty much everyone knows about his channel at this point in the psychedelic community. At least if you are more or less young, I would say, or of this psychedelic generation, I guess. So it's pretty big. We expect a lot of newcomers from them because it's just the perfect audience as well. And yeah, we're hoping we can grow this token. And as I always say, everyone is welcome to join, and not only join as a holder, but also come here and tell us this can be better, give us some feedback. Maybe you have a skill that you can share towards the cause. You also very welcome to contribute. That's what a lot of people have done, and we're just barely starting. So if everyone joins and they are able to share a skill that they feel they can contribute, imagine how far we can reach with a lot of people doing things, collaborating together. That at the end, that is also the point, that we all get together, and not just as individuals, but we all get together and put our skills together for the greater cause that we believe in. And if we do that, it is definitely possible that we will reach a big impact.
Is Andrea still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Well, I was just wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about your role, and I know you guys are planning on having a new website up and running.
Well, I'm Andrea, and I'm in charge of the marketing department. And I think it's also important to mention that we will work to protect indigenous tribes, because they are the ones who preserved psychedelics through industrialization. And the ultimate goal is to connect all psychedelic communities together in order to learn from each other.
Yeah, that is something that I definitely place a very high value as someone that's coming more from California LSD culture originally, and now having experienced many years in the jungle with the indigenous people and shamans. All of these compounds, there's a lot of overlap, so they're all potentially good at treating the same kind of things and offer the same kind of benefits. But certainly, for example, ayahuasca, which DMT is a component of, is much better for emotional trauma. but I've noticed it doesn't seem to do a whole lot for balancing ego. So there's definitely a lot of need for a holistic approach and a wide spectrum of knowledge. So I really strongly agree with that. And that's, another thing that really attracted me personally to this project, because that's basically what I'm doing here. Psychedelics, especially I guess ayahuasca, have really benefited me. And so now I'm living in the Amazon trying to contribute to the indigenous communities. And I know we've discussed this, that setting some of the like the different organizations up with wallets so that they're able to receive donations from cryptocurrency and getting some education done is something you guys were also interested in contributing to. So we definitely really appreciate that and respect that. And so, yeah.
Fantastic.
We have one more team member joining.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Hey everybody.
How's it going? So you want to introduce yourself? Talk about your role in the project?
One second. Okay. Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm a team member of SDMT. Been in it from the very start, going through a rough time now with our redeployment of the website, revamping of the whole design. I'm a huge believer in the potential of blockchain tech for the betterment of society in pretty much any aspect. It's to me, it's unlimited potential, and the decentralized nature and the ability to have completely autonomous community projects that like pick an area in which they want to improve, in which they want to enrich their entire community. It's mind-blowing. It's really exciting to be part of this, and I'm a huge believer.
I think it's worth saying that one of the things that drew you to this project is that you do work in mental health, and combining that with the fact that you've been in crypto since, what was it, 2012? You've been in crypto
2012,
since?
I bought my first Bitcoin in 2012.
A long time.
Lost most of it, so I'm not super rich. I didn't benefit of it much, but I always stayed around, always watching from the sidelines, learning more and more about blockchain tech with the development in the NFT space that's coming around now, giving people the ability to basically own their own data sets. It's huge. It's so much potential. And about the healthcare, or let's say mental health crisis epidemic, and me being involved in institutional mental health care and psychiatric wards, working, I'm a nurse, working in those and seeing the current state of classical therapy, which is mostly reduced to sedating people to a level in which they completely lose their personality, basically.
It's inhumane.
Yeah, well, then you can start talking about addiction coming along with the heavy use of medication. When you talk about I don't know the English names, but Stavor is a very common medication for people with psychosis, and they become completely dependent. And at a certain point, when they spend a couple of months or years in these institutions, most of their life revolves around fear of like a psychotic push and the constant need for sedation. And that's so far removed from any healthy environment that allows for healing. That
It's not. It's just the block. It's just the masking of the symptoms.
Yes. It's just it's sedation.
Yeah. I mean, we're not claiming that psychedelics are going to cure all of the world's problems, but
no.
What we want is for them to be an option for people.
Yes, this avenue needs to be explored.
I don't think it's an overstatement, though, to say that the potential range of applications is greater than any known medicine or treatment, and I think the clinical research has established over a period of decades now that there really is no competition. For addiction, for example, oftentimes a single dose is able to produce lasting results in 85% of the people that take the treatment. And I think the normal rate of success is something like 15%. And I'm also pretty confident that that's about the same efficacy has been measured or established for any of the applications that psychedelics are applied. So it's not, I mean, I agree that we don't want to be over evangelical, but I think it's actually really difficult to oversell the potential of psychedelics and the importance of psychedelic research.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, the research I'm seeing says that the single dosing, it shows that it works after a single dose, but you'll find that you will need a top up after, some people 2 weeks, some people 6 months. But even people who have had a single dose experience still carry the learning from that experience for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm. It is like that, and it's something that it won't create an addiction in them. It won't create severe adverse side effects that they will have to carry on with the rest of their lives. And that is something that is not often found in other pharmaceuticals, I would say. And not only that, it just, as I mentioned, it doesn't create an addiction, and it's not just that, but it also works to reverse addiction. In a lot of people have this has happened. They have used psychedelics to stop smoking. Some people use ibogaine to drop off very hard substances like crack cocaine or very strong addictions. And this stuff that has been used under the table to cure a lot of stuff, and it could help a way bigger amount of people if this became a more mainstream and it didn't have the negative connotations that it has been given to from the bigger pharmacy and governments for so long.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things Terence McKenna said, he said, look, if the solution doesn't make money, it's going to be really hard to sell it. And this, we feel, is the solution that will make money. This is the global consensus on the use of psychedelics as an investment, speculative, that says, hey, everybody stand up, jump in on this, just, put a small amount in. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. Obviously, if you want to invest a large amount, go for it. But, from small acorns, we can really make a change here.
Well, on that note, you guys definitely have my support. I mean, I've been in your Telegram, and you guys are super active all the time. You're super responsive to questions. I don't think usually more than a half an hour goes by at the most before I ever have to wait for a response for anything, even at 3 o'clock in the morning. The same person that I had also spoken to at 10 o'clock in the morning would respond. So I know you guys are putting in a tremendous amount of hours. I think that your sincerity and dedication and enthusiasm is readily apparent. This is a very translucent team, a transparent team. There's, I think, zero possibility that there is any kind of scamming intent here, which is becoming, that makes a project a gem in and of itself. I think your market cap at the moment is super low, so anyone that puts in money now, I think that as far as values investment goes, certainly for my community, there's not going to be a better project out there. Even if it wasn't for the spectacular team that's involved just in terms of the concept, So I want to thank you guys so much for being who you are and doing what you're doing. And I look forward to, maybe we'll do a follow-up in a couple of months so we can say, hey, look, now Rogan's got SafeDMT tattooed on his forehead and we're just taking over the world.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Hey man, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. It's,
yeah, really a pleasure. Yeah, we hope you can come back and do the follow-up as you mentioned. I think it will be great for people. I'm sure they're going to be interested, and they will be looking forward for 2 months and seeing where we are at and what we have done and what is the next plan.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man, for giving us an opportunity to talk about the project and to show the networking process of people with similar interests coming together for a common cause. And it's like this grassroots kind of a movement, kind of energy. I like that a lot. It's amazing to see.
This is how we have to do it, because I think that the best hedge against volatility in this market is a values investment. Basically, people are only going to stay invested if they really believe in the purpose that is behind the project. So, and I think this is something that is huge on people's minds, because we're in the midst of the most threatening catastrophe in the history of the planet. I think that that's not paranoid or overly dramatic to put it that way. And so, as we've established, I think the efficacy of psychedelics to mitigate so much harm is so great that this is the fundamental type of grassroots project that we need to see. It's brilliant, that cryptocurrency can generate the kind of money that it can. Yeah. And so, this is exactly what we need at exactly the time that we need it. And if you want to rise above all the dirt and grime, you add the right spice at the right time. And I think that's what's happening with SafeDMT. And so, again, thank you guys so much. When you purchase SafeDMT on PancakeSwap, you have to change the last digit of the amount of SafeDMT you're purchasing to a 1 or a 9. That's correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.